Welcome to Easy Driver, the most reliable source of automotive information on YouTube. Please like, share, comment and subscribe.
How car ownership affects our planet, understanding the environmental impact. We've all been there, stuck in traffic, watching the exhaust fumes rise from the car in front of us, wondering if the convenience of car ownership is really worth the environmental cost. As it turns out, owning a car can have a profound impact on our environmental awareness. On one hand, the freedom to drive wherever we want, whenever we want, can make us less mindful of our carbon footprint. On the other hand, the sheer expense of fuel, maintenance, and parking can prompt us to think more critically about our transportation choices.
But what does this mean for our planet?
As we navigate the complexities of car ownership and environmental awareness, we begin to see that the relationship between the two is far from straightforward. In this video, we'll explore the dual nature of car ownership, how it can both harm and help the environment, and what this means for our daily lives. We'll examine the ways in which car ownership can shape our attitudes towards the environment, and what we can do to make more sustainable choices. Historical context of car ownership. To understand the impact of car ownership on environmental awareness, we need to take a step back and explore the evolution of the automobile industry and its societal impact over the decades. The rise of car ownership has been a defining feature of modern American life, shaping our culture, lifestyle, and environment in profound ways.
Rise of the automobile industry.
The early 20th century saw the dawn of the automobile age, with pioneers like Henry Ford revolutionizing the industry with the assembly line production method. Cars became more affordable, accessible, and desirable, transforming the way Americans lived, worked, and traveled. The automobile industry grew at an unprecedented rate, with car ownership becoming a symbol of freedom, status, and prosperity. As the industry expanded, so did the network of roads, highways, and infrastructure to support it. The construction of the interstate highway system in the 1950s and 1960s further accelerated the growth of suburbanization, as people moved out of cities and into the suburbs, relying on their cars for daily commutes. The automobile industry had become a driving force behind American economic growth, shaping the country's urban planning, architecture, and lifestyle. Shifts in environmental awareness. However, as car ownership became more widespread, concerns about the environmental impact of the automobile industry began to emerge. The 1960s and 1970s saw a growing awareness of the need for environmental protection, with the publication of Rachel Carson's Silent Spring in 1962 and the establishment of the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, in 1970. The oil embargo of 1973 and the subsequent fuel shortages further highlighted the need for energy efficiency and conservation. As the environmental movement gained momentum, the automobile industry faced increasing scrutiny for its role in air pollution, greenhouse gas emissions, and resource depletion. The Clean Air Act of 1970 and the Corporate Average Fuel Economy (CAFE) standards of 1975 were enacted to regulate emissions and improve fuel efficiency. While these measures were important steps towards mitigating the environmental impact of car ownership, they also underscored the need for a more fundamental shift in the way Americans thought about transportation and the environment. The historical context of car ownership reveals a complex interplay between technological innovation, economic growth, and environmental awareness. As we move forward, it's essential to consider the lessons of the past and the challenges of the present to create a more sustainable future for transportation and the environment. The dark side of car ownership, environmental consequences. As we cruise down the highway, music blasting and wind in our hair, it's easy to forget about the environmental costs of our daily commute. But the truth is, car ownership has a profound impact on the planet, from the air we breathe to the habitats we destroy.
Let's take a closer look at the environmental consequences of car ownership. Carbon emissions. Carbon emissions are one of the most significant environmental consequences of car ownership. With over 1 billion vehicles on the road worldwide, it's no wonder that transportation accounts for nearly 15% of global greenhouse gas emissions. But what does that really mean? Imagine a giant smokestack pumping out over 4.6 billion metric tons of CO2 every year.
That's the equivalent of burning over 1.3 billion barrels of oil. The impact on global warming is staggering, with rising temperatures, more frequent natural disasters, and unpredictable weather patterns becoming the new norm.
Resource consumption.
But carbon emissions are just the tip of the iceberg. Car ownership also guzzles natural resources like fossil fuels, water, and raw materials. The production of a single car requires over 25 tons of steel, 1,000 pounds of aluminum, and 100 pounds of copper, not to mention the energy needed to manufacture and transport these materials. And let's not forget about the fossil fuels we burn to keep our cars running. The average American driver consumes over 500 gallons of gasoline per year, which translates to over 12 barrels of oil. That's a lot of drilling, refining, and burning, and it's taking a toll on our planet.
Urban sprawl and habitat loss.
Finally, car-centric urban planning has led to the destruction of natural habitats and the loss of biodiversity. As cities sprawl outward, forests are cleared, wetlands are drained, and wildlife habitats are fragmented. The consequences are devastating: species extinction, soil erosion, and decreased air quality. Imagine a world without the songs of birds, the rustle of leaves, or the gentle hum of insects. It's a bleak future, and one that's all too possible if we continue down this path.
What can we do to change course? Can we reimagine our cities, our transportation systems, and our daily commutes to prioritize the planet?
The answer is yes, but it will take courage, creativity, and a willingness to challenge the status quo. The influence of car ownership on environmental behavior. As we navigate the complexities of environmental awareness, it's essential to examine the role car ownership plays in shaping our eco-friendly habits.
Does owning a car make us more or less conscious of our environmental impact? Do car owners tend to adopt sustainable practices, or do they prioritize convenience over conservation? In this section, we'll explore the intricate relationship between car ownership and environmental behavior.
Stay tuned for Part 2, where we'll discuss the solutions and alternatives to reduce our environmental footprint.
Please comment, like, share, and subscribe for more automotive information like this.
Thank you for watching.